Beast of the Sea, the symbol of the Merovingians.
I want to know that too.
I didn't hear the last part, but I do know Starbucks is the goddess, of course, and she was the star goddess. Remember, she was called Astara, Ishtar,
yeah.
Ashtar.
Oh, that's the same
all have a star connotation.
Mm-hmm.
She was the star goddess, and so there's no doubt, that the Mogul who began the Starbucks chain used that symbol, believing he'd have the blessing of the great goddess.
All right.
Is that why they're apparently doing so well?
Well, it could be. Many of these Satanists and the Illuminists do believe that by using these symbols and everything, they're invoking the spirits. I don't doubt that CBS, when it was founded way back when, the founder believed that he was going to receive the blessings of the deities. This is why, Washington, D.C. was laid out. There's a satanic pentagram
right.
Leading from the Capitol building.
Right.
Many of the streets are laid out, and all of them are, and there's zodiacs.
Uh-huh.
There's zodiacs all over Washington, D.C., and they're laid out to invoke the heavenly intelligences and the astrological deities to provide favor to them. Mm-hmm. By the way, in doing my research, I was so shocked some years ago by everything I was discovering, and I didn't want to believe any of it. For example, I went to the writings of George Washington. I got all the original writings. I found he wrote many letters, and he would end letters, to friends, and he would say, "May the pleasurable influences of Orion and the Pleiades be upon your life." Or, "This Thursday, my wife and I are going to go to dinner because with so and so because the favorable influences of Venus that's transiting Pluto."
Wow.
Use all these astrological things. Even Benjamin Franklin, in Little Richard's Almanac, always had the horoscope and talked about the planetary influences.
He's in on
Washington, D.C. is basically an astrologically based city.
Yeah.
It's just demon stuff.
Okay. All right, Tex, we have this from Out Factor. He wants to know, and he may have sent you an email, so if you remember somebody named Out Factor, but it says, Tex, did you get his email concerning Ron Paul doing the El Diablo sign?
Yeah, let me say this. I'm not opposed to exposing anyone, but now in the state of Texas, there's been a little bit of confusion about the El Diablo sign.
Yeah.
Because, the University of Texas Longhorns have a sign very similar to that.
Right.
And Ron Paul is from the state of Texas, out of Houston.
Uh-huh.
So let's find out first if he's a Longhorn
fan.
fan.
I'll tell you what, if you watch the news, you'd think Ron Paul has dropped out, but he has not dropped out.
No, that's true, he hasn't. Even if it were true that he was given the El Diablo sign, I would say that he's a better candidate than the others, but that would not be a very good thing.
We don't...
I have no evidence that he's into that.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what, when I used to teach at the University of Texas. I taught there for 5 years. And so I've seen the so-called El Diablo sign. But here's the interesting thing about it. Everything has its connection in one way or another. I'm sure that Ron Paul doesn't know this. But, back in the 1940s, Texas was going to play Texas A&M in a football game.
All right.
And they were going to have a big pep rally, and they needed extra power.
Right.
And they asked the witches.
Whoa. And
there were a number of witches in Austin, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
They asked the witches for a sign that they could use to give them power over the Aggies, the Texas Aggies. And the witches showed them this sign, the El Diablo sign, and told them, well, this is just like Longhorns. And so they had the big University of Texas rally and began to use that sign. And the kids were taught, the students there at that time, I think it was like 1947. In fact, they had a big story in the Austin American Statesman recently. The guy who actually invented that Longhorn sign told about it and said the witches gave it to us.
Well, did they win?
But if you talk to the average student on campus, they don't know the origins of it. Just like the rock and roll crowd, if you say to them, "Why are you giving the sign of the devil?" they say, "Oh, this is just sex, drugs, and rock and roll, man."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but it's more than that. They're just stupid. They don't know.
Tex, did they win? I'm just asking.
You know, I should have read the article more closely. I can't remember whether they did or not.
Okay, well, all right. Let's go this question here. Do you know if Obama
will be the next president? Right.
Right on.
And let me tell you what I think.
Okay.
Okay. I think he will be, and I also think. Oh well, maybe not. I think, but what if he was? Could he possibly be shot or killed and then rise again?
Wow.
Because you know he is from the East.
Wow.
Or is that just crazy? He's from the East, right?
Yeah, you think he's from? You think because several people have said that he may be in line for some sort of assassination, and every time I hear that on the program, I have to usher a disclaimer that the Edge does not necessarily agree with the host or anything else, you know. But I'm just, you know, do you think that when you get into that level that you can conjure these kind of powers? And
I mean, what do we really know about him?
Nothing.
And I'm not saying, but I'm just...
His middle name Hussein, that's all I know.
I mean, he is from the East. He very likely could be president.
Yeah.
And, you know, the other.
I know his full name, too. It's Saddam...
no.
Hussein, what? No, I'm sorry. That was a typo. Barack Insane Obama. No. Barack Insane No Obama. I'm going to get a bumper sticker saying No Obama. Got a big knot on it. Well, anyway, go ahead.
Well, I think that I think you're absolutely on target.
Oh no, please.
It would not surprise me at all. First of all, it's an amazing thing when you think about it that he overcame Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that she had the political power
and lived to tell about
it, and had the elite behind her. I believe they had Obama there. They wanted to show to the black community, you know, that, you know, they were politically correct and all this stuff, but the guy snuck up on them. He does have a faction there in Chicago, both Jewish and you know, the old mafia people, you know, the Daley, Mayor Daley crowd there that has promoted him. That's why the guy named Rezko, you know, the mobster, gave him a lot of money and such. But let me say this about Obama. Obama, surprisingly enough, there are some people who are strange. Okay, maybe you guys sound a little bit like that to me, because y'all are courageous and bold enough to fight the vast wave of evil that is in America. No. So y'all are sort of in a strange, curious category, which I appreciate greatly, I might add, and I love you for it. But there are a few people. Excuse me.
I like strange.
People, yeah, there you got it too. I like strange. And so, and I am one of those too.
Peculiar. Okay, I like that word better.
Yeah, there you go. Chosen. And you know, the Bible talks about us being a curious people. And, you know, a different kind of people. Remember what Peter said? What did he use the term? Oh, I'm sorry, I've forgotten. But he talked about us being a chosen people.
Chosen generation, a peculiar people.
A peculiar. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. A peculiar people. That's a good word. I believe Obama is a very unusual person. I do. And for some reason, this is just intuition, speculation, just as you were speculating a moment ago. But let me say something about Obama. I remember the case of John F. Kennedy and his brother Robert. These people, just as did Nixon, they had been placed in office by very powerful forces, but once in, they fought those forces, and for whatever reason, decided to make war on the Illuminati.
Whoa.
Now, Nixon was forced out. John Kennedy was assassinated. Truman decided late in his term He would no longer take orders from the Zionist Illuminati. He was given the instructions that they would not support him